The ancient archives housed in the Grand Galactic Library contained thousands of references to beings called humans, but most scholars considered them nothing more than myths. These strange creatures supposedly originated from a small blue planet called Earth in an unremarkable solar system. Professor Taewon had dedicated 50 cycles to studying these legends. His office walls were covered with reproductions of ancient texts mentioning humans, and his shelves overflowed with artifacts that might have been of human origin. The patterns are too consistent to dismiss, he told his graduate student Jinho one evening as they examined a metallic disc recovered from ruins on the outer rim. Every major civilization in our recorded history has stories about these humans. Jinho carefully turned the disc over in his six-fingered hands. The symbols etched into its surface matched no known language. What makes these myths so special, Professor? Every culture has stories of imaginary beings. Taewon's eyes brightened. Because these imaginary beings appear in the historical records of over 300 different species across 12,000 cycles, always described the same way. He pulled up holographic images showing ancient depictions of humans from different worlds. 2 arms, 2 legs, limited sensory capabilities, no natural weapons or defenses, yet supposedly capable of remarkable adaptability. The professor activated a projection showing text translations. The Ardaxian records claim humans could survive in almost any environment. The Viridian scrolls describe them using tools to overcome their physical limitations. The Heptari crystals contain stories of humans achieving space travel despite their biological constraints. Jinho remained skeptical. But if they were real, where did they go? Why don't we see them now? That, said Taewon, is the greatest mystery of all. He picked up a small device from his desk. Most texts suggest they vanished approximately 20,000 cycles ago, after some great calamity. Some say they destroyed themselves. Others claim they fled to another galaxy. The professor was considered eccentric by most of the academic community. His colleagues politely tolerated his human obsession while dismissing his theories. Only Jinho had shown genuine interest in his research, which is why Taewon had chosen him for the expedition to the newly discovered ruins on Kestari Prime. The next morning, their small research vessel approached the barren planet. Kestari Prime orbited a dying star, its surface scarred by ancient impacts. Scanners indicated the ruins were located in what might once have been an ocean basin, now a dusty depression stretching beyond the horizon. The preliminary team found something significant, Taewon said as they prepared to descend. A sealed chamber that appears untouched for millennia. The landing was smooth despite the howling winds. Donning protective suits, they made their way to the excavation site where a team of worker drones had cleared the entrance to an underground structure. This architecture doesn't match any known species, Jinho noted as they descended into the cool darkness. The walls were perfectly straight, the angles precise in a way that felt somehow familiar yet alien. Deep within the structure, they found the sealed chamber. Unlike the dust-covered passages, this room gleamed as if it had been cleaned yesterday. In its center stood a pedestal supporting a small cube that emitted a faint blue glow. Careful, Taewon warned as Jinho approached it. We don't know what it is. Jinho scanned the cube with his instruments. It's generating a low-level energy field. And there's massive amounts of data stored within it. When Taewon moved closer, the cube suddenly brightened. A beam of light shot out, creating a three-dimensional image above it, a spinning representation of a planet. Earth, Taewon whispered in awe. The image shifted, showing bipedal figures that matched the ancient depictions of humans. Then it displayed stars, ships, battles, a visual history playing out before their eyes. Professor, this is a data core, Jinho said excitedly. A record left behind by humans, Taewon finished. Not myths after all. The projection changed again, showing a series of coordinates and a date according to the universal calendar system. The date was exactly 1 cycle from today. They left this for someone to find, Taewon said softly. They wanted us to know they were coming back. The coordinates from the human data core led to a system at the edge of the galaxy, previously dismissed as uninhabitable. After Taewon presented his findings to the Galactic Council, they authorized an expedition despite widespread skepticism. The mission was as much to humor the eccentric professor as to investigate a potential first contact scenario. Captain Hannah stood on the bridge of the Stellar Explorer, a diplomatic vessel carrying representatives from 12 major species. She had been chosen for her calm demeanor and experience with unusual encounters, though even she considered this mission little more than an elaborate wild goose chase. "We're approaching the target system, Captain," reported Navigator Ji-suk, his fingers dancing across the control panel. "Scans show a G-type star with 4 planets. The third appears to have been habitable once, but now shows no atmosphere." Hannah nodded. "Take us in slowly. Standard approach protocol." As they entered the system, Ambassador Du Yun joined her on the bridge. The tall, slender diplomat represented the Galactic Council and technically outranked her, though he had been courteous enough to respect the chain of command aboard ship. 20,000 cycles is a long time for any species to disappear, then return, Du Yun said quietly. "What do you think we'll find, Captain?" "Most likely nothing," Hannah replied honestly. "Perhaps some ancient ruins that Professor Taewon can study." But as they approached the third planet, sensors began detecting something unusual. A structure orbited the dead world, massive and clearly artificial. "Are those lights?" Ji-suk asked, leaning forward to study his readouts. "The structure appears to be powered down, but there are definitely energy signatures." Hannah ordered a closer approach. The structure revealed itself to be an enormous space station, its design unlike anything in galactic records. As they drew nearer, the station remained silent and dark. "No response to standard greeting protocols," Communications Officer Ji-hai reported. "Should I try alternative frequencies?" Before Hannah could answer, the station suddenly blazed with light. Illumination raced across its surface like flowing water, revealing its true size, at least 20 kilometers across. "Captain!" Ji-suk shouted. Multiple objects emerging from behind the planet's moon. On the viewscreen, a fleet of ships appeared, sleek and elegant in design. They moved with precision that suggested either advanced AI or exceptionally skilled pilots. Within moments, the Stellar Explorer was surrounded. The bridge crew tensed. Though this was a diplomatic vessel, they were effectively trapped. "We're receiving a transmission," Ji-hai announced, her voice wavering slightly. "Audio and visual, on a frequency we've never used before." "Put it through," Hannah ordered, straightening her uniform. The main screen flickered, then displayed an image that caused gasps throughout the bridge. The being looked almost like several known species, yet distinctly different. 2 arms, 2 legs, a head with 2 eyes and a mouth, matching exactly the ancient depictions of humans. The being spoke, producing sounds unlike any language in their database. After a moment, it tilted its head, then spoke again, this time in perfect galactic standard. "I am Commander Ju Hyun of the Earth Defense Fleet. Identify yourselves and state your purpose." Hannah stepped forward. "I am Captain Hannah of the Galactic Council vessel Stellar Explorer. We come in peace, seeking contact with the species known as humans." The human's expression changed subtly. "How did you find this location?" Du Yun moved beside Hannah. "We discovered a data core left by your people. It contained these coordinates and today's date." Ju Hyun seemed to consider this information. "The beacon protocol. It was activated, interesting." The human commander's demeanor softened slightly. "Your arrival was expected, though not for another century. The algorithm must have determined the galaxy was stabilizing faster than projected." "Then you truly are humans?" Du Yun asked, unable to hide his excitement. "The beings from Earth mentioned in ancient texts?" "We are," Ju Hyun confirmed. "And after 20,000 years of isolation, we have decided it is time to return." The commander paused, then added, "You will dock at our station. There is much to discuss." As the transmission ended, the crew of the Stellar Explorer stood in stunned silence. They were about to make contact with beings most had considered mythological just days ago. "Prepare a delegation," Hannah ordered, breaking the silence. "And inform Professor Taewon his life's work has just been validated." The Stellar Explorer moved toward the massive station, escorted by the human vessels. As they approached, more lights activated, revealing intricate designs and symbols across its surface. The dock extended to welcome them, the first non-humans to make contact with Earth's children in 20 millennia. The gleaming corridors of the human space station stretched before the galactic delegation as they followed Commander Juhyun. The walls seemed to glow with a soft light that came from nowhere and everywhere. Ambassador Duyun noticed there were no visible seams in the construction, as if the entire structure had been grown rather than built. Our station is called New Dawn, explained Juhyun as they walked. It serves as our primary contact point with the galaxy now that we've decided to return. Professor Taewon could barely contain his excitement, recording everything with his datapad. The architecture matches fragments found in ruins across 12 systems. This confirms my theories about human construction methods. Juhyun smiled politely at the professor's enthusiasm. Those would be our old outposts. Before the cataclysm. The delegation entered a large circular chamber where several other humans waited. They varied in appearance, different skin tones, heights, and features, but all shared the same basic form that matched the ancient descriptions. An older human stepped forward. I am Director Sun Ho, representative of the human collective. Welcome to New Terra. Du-Yun performed the formal galactic greeting. We are honored by this historic meeting. For thousands of cycles, your species has been considered mythological by most scholars. Yet here we are, said Sun Ho, gesturing to a table where refreshments had been prepared. Please, join us. We have much to discuss. As they settled around the table, Captain Hannah noticed the food and drinks had been carefully selected to accommodate the biology of each species in their delegation. You've studied us well, she observed. We never stopped watching the galaxy, Sun Ho replied. Even in our isolation. Why did you isolate yourselves? Asked Du-Yun. The ancient texts mention humans as founders of the first galactic community. Sun Ho's expression turned solemn. 20,000 years ago, our species nearly destroyed itself and much of the known galaxy in what we call the cataclysm. A war unlike any before or since. Holographic images appeared above the table, showing devastated planets and massive fleets in battle. Our technology had advanced beyond our wisdom, continued Sun Ho. We created weapons that could destroy solar systems. When the war finally ended, those of us who survived made a difficult decision. You chose to disappear, said Taewon, finally understanding. Yes. We removed ourselves from galactic affairs, erased most records of our existence, and retreated to rebuild on our terms. Sun Ho gestured at their surroundings. We established hidden colonies and research stations. We watched as new species rose and formed their own civilizations. Engineer Jimin, part of the delegation, had been examining a small device on the table. This technology, it's incredibly advanced yet somehow familiar. That's because much of what you consider your own technological achievements were actually rediscoveries, explained Juhyun. Ideas and principles we left behind, found in ruins or old databases, interpreted and rebuilt by your scientists. The revelation stunned the delegation. Jimin picked up the device again, now seeing similarities to their own tools that had never been apparent before. You've been guiding our development, asked Du-Yun, a note of concern in his voice. No, Sun Ho said firmly. We observed but never interfered. We needed to be certain that when new civilizations developed advanced technology, they would not repeat our mistakes. A younger human named Unwoo stepped forward with another hologram, this one showing the current galactic map. For thousands of years, we debated whether to return. Many humans felt we should remain hidden forever, a cautionary tale rather than a living species. What changed your minds? Asked Hannah. Two things, said Sun Ho. First, your civilizations have maintained relative peace despite significant differences. Second. He hesitated, exchanging glances with Juhyun. Second, continued Juhyun, we detected something at the edge of the galaxy. Something we've encountered before. New images appeared above the table, strange, dark ships of an unfamiliar design. These vessels have been probing the galaxy's outer systems for the past 5 years. They're scouts for something much larger. The delegation members looked at each other in confusion. None recognized the ships. "We call them the Void Armada," explained Sunho. "They were one reason for the cataclysm. We thought we had driven them from this galaxy, but they've returned." Du Yun leaned forward. "Are you saying there's a threat to the galaxy we don't even know about?" "Yes," said Sunho simply. "And humans may be the only species prepared to face it. That is why we've returned, not just to rejoin galactic society, but to warn you." The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Their myths had returned, bearing knowledge of an enemy they never knew existed. 3 months after humans reappeared, the warning about the Void Armada seemed almost forgotten. The Galactic Council had been consumed with integrating humans into their diplomatic frameworks and studying the advanced technology the returning species was cautiously sharing. Council leader Minho stood before the emergency session, his normally composed demeanor shaken. The giant display behind him showed real-time footage that had arrived from the perimeter defense network. "The Epsilon sector has gone dark," he announced to the assembled representatives. 18 worlds, 3 major space stations, and the entire defense fleet, all communication lost within 6 hours. Murmurs spread through the Grand Chamber. The Epsilon sector was well developed and heavily protected, not some vulnerable frontier region. "Our long-range scans detected these vessels before communications failed," Minho continued, bringing up images of sleek, black ships that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. They matched the description of what humans call the Void Armada. Ambassador Du Yun, now the official liaison with humanity, rose from his seat. "The humans warned us this could happen. I move that we formally request their assistance." "Assistance," scoffed Representative Yunji from the Stellar Mercantile Alliance. "They barely rejoined galactic society and we should just hand over our defense to them? This could even be a human plot too." His words were cut short as the chamber's emergency systems activated. A junior officer rushed in, whispering urgently to Minho. "The Delta sector is under attack," Minho announced, his voice tight. "Planetary defense systems are failing against the invaders' weapons." The chamber erupted in panic. The Delta sector was just 3 days' travel from the Council homeworlds at standard speed. As the Council argued about response strategies, human Representative Sunmi sat quietly in her observer's seat. The humans had not yet been granted full Council membership, so she had no vote in these proceedings. She tapped a small device on her wrist, sending a brief message. Later that day, an emergency defense committee gathered in the Strategic Command Center. Tactical displays showed the Void Armada's advance, much faster than any Council strategist had predicted. "Our weapons cannot penetrate their shields," reported Defense Coordinator Hojin. "And their technology allows them to bypass our defensive lines without using known jump points." Minho turned to Sunmi, who had been invited to advise. "Your people predicted this. What can you tell us about these invaders?" Sunmi's expression remained calm. "The Void Armada comes from beyond our galaxy. We encountered them 20,000 years ago. They don't invade, they harvest. Resources, technology, biological material, they take what they need and leave nothing behind." "How did you defeat them before?" asked Hojin. "We nearly destroyed ourselves doing so," Sunmi replied. "That was the true cause of the cataclysm, not just civil war among humans, but a desperate last stand against the Armada." Minho leaned forward. "Will your people help us now?" Sunmi was silent for a long moment. "This has been debated among our leadership since our return. Many humans believe we should remain apart from galactic conflicts, that our intervention might do more harm than good." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Without human help, the Council worlds would fall within weeks. As they waited for her answer, an aide rushed in with a data tablet. "Urgent news from the outer systems," he said, handing it to Minho. Minho's face paled as he read. "A human outpost at Proxima has been destroyed by the Void Armada. Total casualties unknown." All eyes turned to Sunmi. Her composed expression flickered for just a moment, revealing something ancient and terrible beneath. She touched her communication device again, this time engaging a direct holographic link. A projection appeared in the center of the room, an older human male in a uniform that radiated authority without ornamentation. "This is Fleet Admiral Taejun of the Earth Defense Force," the human said without preamble. "We have monitored the Council's situation and received news about Proxima Station." Sunmi nodded to him. "The Council requests assistance, Admiral." "The decision has been made," Taejun replied. "All 18 battle groups have been activated. First response vessels will arrive at Council space within 6 hours. The main fleet follows 12 hours later." The Council members exchanged glances of shock and hope. Hojin quickly calculated. 18 battle groups? How many ships is that? 5,400 vessels, Taejun answered simply. Plus support craft. The number stunned the room into silence. The entire Council Defense Force numbered less than 2,000 ships. "We have fought this enemy before," Taejun continued. "And we have spent 20,000 years preparing should they return. This time, we will end the threat permanently." As the transmission ended, Minho turned to Sunmi. "Your people hid this level of military power from us." "We hid many things," she replied quietly. "Some out of caution, some out of shame. But now you'll see what humans do best: survive, and ensure others survive too." In the vast expanse of space, the Guardians of the Galaxy found themselves facing their most challenging mission yet. Peter Quill, also known as Star-Lord, stood at the helm of their beaten-up spaceship, his eyes scanning the starry darkness. Beside him, Gamora adjusted her weapons, her green skin gleaming under the dim lights of the control panel. Rocket, the genetically modified raccoon, was busy tinkering with some complicated device, muttering to himself about potential improvements. Drax sat nearby, his muscular body tense with anticipation, while Groot, now a small sapling version of himself, swayed gently, humming a quiet tune. Their latest adventure began when they received a mysterious transmission from an unknown planet. The message was scrambled but carried an urgent tone that caught their attention. Something big was happening, and the Guardians knew they were probably the only team crazy enough to investigate. As they approached the mysterious planet, strange energy readings started to flood their ship's sensors. Rocket's ears perked up, and he began rapid-fire calculations on the navigation system. "This doesn't look good," he warned, his sharp eyes darting across multiple screens. The planet appeared desolate at first glance, a barren landscape of rocky terrain and strange, twisted rock formations. But as they landed, something felt off. The air was thick with an unusual electrical charge, and strange shadows seemed to move just beyond their vision. Peter checked his blasters, making sure they were fully charged. Gamora's hand rested on her sword, her warrior instincts completely alert. Drax cracked his knuckles, ready for any potential fight that might come their way. Suddenly, a massive energy pulse erupted from the ground beneath them. The team was thrown backward, their protective gear barely stopping them from serious injury. As the dust settled, they realized they had landed in the middle of an ancient alien battlefield. Remnants of long-forgotten technology were scattered everywhere. Broken machines, half-buried monuments, and strange metallic structures told a story of a civilization that had fought a terrible war centuries ago. But something about this place felt alive, as if the battle was not truly over. Rocket discovered a hidden underground chamber filled with advanced technology that even he found complex and fascinating. "This stuff is way beyond anything I've ever seen," he mumbled, his mechanical skills challenged by the intricate designs. Groot communicated through his limited vocabulary, sensing something was watching them. "I am Groot," he repeated, which could mean anything from a warning to simple curiosity. The team had learned to trust his instincts over time. As they explored deeper, they uncovered a shocking truth. This planet was a massive weapon, a living, breathing machine designed to destroy entire solar systems. The Guardians realized they had stumbled upon something that could threaten the entire galaxy if activated. Their mission transformed from simple exploration to a desperate race against time. They needed to disable the planet weapon before it could cause unimaginable destruction. Each team member brought their unique skills to the challenge. Gamora's strategic mind mapped out potential weak points. Rocket's technical expertise searched for shutdown mechanisms. Drax's raw strength prepared to break through any physical barriers. Peter's leadership kept them focused and united. Hours of intense work followed. Wires were cut, systems were overridden, and dangerous energy signatures were neutralized. Sweat dripped, tensions rose, and the possibility of failure loomed large. In a dramatic final moment, with seconds to spare, Rocket connected the last critical circuit. The planet's massive energy core began to power down, its destructive potential neutralized. The Guardians had done it again, saved countless lives through their unique blend of skill, luck, and teamwork. As they prepared to leave, they knew this was just another day in their chaotic, unpredictable lives. The universe was vast, full of mysteries and dangers, and they were its unlikely protectors. Their ship lifted off, leaving behind the silent, now harmless planet. Another mission completed, another potential galactic catastrophe averted. Just another adventure for the Guardians of the Galaxy. Peter looked at his team, a group of misfits who had become a family. They were bruised, tired, but victorious. And somewhere in the vast universe, new challenges were waiting for them.